then we'll go ahead. So we'll again continue with requirements and user stories. So there were a few things left which I did not show you, the approval part and stuff. Okay. So we'll again work. So we'll go to create and manage requirements and their dependent entities. Again, agenda is again like we'll go through the requirements at demo and traceability. Like I'll show you how you can save your views. Like if you can just come and trace you, how do you requirements over that matter user story, anything, right? So how do you trace it? How do you do the reporting? Okay, so we'll go straight to the demo. Okay, fine. So I hope my screen is visible. Okay, so we'll come to Cloud ALM implementation requirements. Okay, just a quick question. If like just so we went through right requirements. So can anyone tell me like from requirements what all we can like break down it to a requirement? Anyone like just the like you have a requirement, what you can break it down to, right? Or what you can divide it into, right? Anyone?
Like we can break down the requirements based on the RISE-F objects.
Okay. Yes. Right.
Yeah,
And what
majorly the five
and
objects.
what would you create like?
What I didn't get you. Sorry.
No, I'm saying like I was looking for like from a requirement. Yeah, based on your RISE object, it could be that you could create a user story, right? Or a project. So you can like divide it or break down into a 3 user stories or 4 user story, right?
Yes.
So
Yes.
or a task, right?
Yes.
Right. Yeah, good. Okay. So okay, anyone else wants to say something? Their perspective, their insights. Okay, fine. Let me ask you this. Like as we can break it down into a user story, right? Project task also, right? So what do you think, or means what in what circumstances or in what ways should we, or the best way, like user stories only or project task only, or mix of both? Anyone? What should be the approach? Anyone? How many people we have? Around 12 people, right? So just speak. It's more. See, it's not even like it's more of a discussion, right? You can take it as this should be more of a discussion. Like you have, let's suppose it's a it's a team meeting, not a training in that sense, right? In a team meeting, how do you discuss things? It would be better if discuss things in your scrum call or your stand-up call. How do you discuss things? That okay, so we can discuss that, right? Otherwise, see, what would happen is eventually see what happens is like now someone asked, I asked a question, so someone answered it or I answered something, so all of these things would remain with you, right? Because see, training also, until unless you do hands-on, which I insist you do along with me, how I doing. We have a demo system, you should do it. But I understand you might not want to do it and may not be able to do it. Or after the training, you should, at least give it just hardly take 15 to 30 minutes what I do, right? It's just that because I explain it takes a lot of time. So if you can 15 to 30 minutes of your time, if you are not able to give in this and this 2 hours, but maybe later what I tell you, because see the UI thing is this is not this is very, the UI is very smooth, right? It's not like you have to, it will like you just have, you might not figure out at the first place, then you might click here and there, but eventually you are going to figure out, right? So if you do that, obviously it's not that you're going to remember everything, but as I was saying, I think in some feedback call, that the purpose of this training or for any training is that once you actually do this, let's suppose this is for Cloud ALM. So once in the project, you actually, like some of you would actually be creating a requirement, right? So the training emphasizes more, or the the outcome is positive, or the outcome has been achieved, that one of you, when you're creating a requirement, you're able to recall, okay, this is familiar to me. Okay, yeah, right, requirement, right? Okay, user story, right? It would be like, it's not like when the project is starting and someone asks you, okay, what is the requirement, you might not be able to answer it, or okay, what do we break down, or you might not be maybe able to recall. Okay, no, okay, we do it, and we break it down into user story, project task. We can have sub tasks within the user story. But the thing is that when you actually have the system or the application in front of you, and are you are mandated, now go and create a requirement for yourself. Then when you are creating, then you have that recall value. Okay, right, this screen looks familiar. Okay, right. Then you have that recall. Then it will automatically slowly come to you naturally. That okay, this from requirement you get there. Okay, right, from okay, I can either create it from the task tab, because okay, I was told Okay, right, why you might, okay, where is the where is the user story tab, or where is the project task app, right? Then you might recall that, okay, okay, I was told that these are of same type, so everything comes under task, right? So you can create everything at task, or you can directly create it from the requirement, right? So depending on how you want, so that recall value should be there, then it becomes smooth. Because obviously means, if anyone says that the for any training the end result is that the training gets completed, and from you are able to work with 100% productivity on cloud LM. So that's not a very realistic goal, right? The goal is always that you are with this training, you are at least familiar now with cloud LM, and when you start working you will be familiar, you will have that recall value. Okay, this is new, this is not new to me. Okay, I have read, okay, I have gone through, you go down, okay, then you write, okay, okay, then you know where. Another thing is that you know where to look, right? Let's suppose I just give you without any training, I give you a cloud LM system. You don't know where to look, right? But after this training, you know where to look. Okay, maybe you can't figure out. Maybe you're not even you're not able to recall, but you might be able. Okay, you might not be able to, okay, project task. So you might play around here and then you might be able to find, okay, okay, here we can create task. Okay, okay, how do you create a custom process? Or for that matter, okay, how do I? Okay, I need a so no, we can copy the standard processor into our namespace, and then we can work on it, right? So this you might not be able to do it. If someone asks you, you might not be able to tell them. But once you are in the system, you are in the project, you will have that recall value, right? That is the purpose, at least for that is how I see that. That is the purpose. Even consume, even if you it's more of a broadcast where I am saying you're just consuming, but even of that whatever you have consumed, you're able to grasp even 50 to 60% of whatever is told, and eventually when you are working on the project, if you are able to give 50% again, is well and good. It's like more than enough for you to work. And obviously it will come, like once you start working, with time you will get better, and within no time you will be at 100% productivity, like 100%. You know everything in and out of cloud, right? So that's why I'm saying, you keep asking me question, or you should I keep telling you that, okay, have you done this? So probably no one answers me, but I assume that you are following me and you are doing it. Maybe not at my speed, you're taking your own time, but you should do it, right? You can utilize this 2 hours training. Also, when I'm doing, I go slow so that you can follow me and you can do the same. So you don't have to spend any additional time anywhere, right? And this would be more than enough for you, right? You don't have to spend, probably maybe you can do it once in a while, just you have gone through in a day or in a week. But what I do, if you do it in the system during the training only, then it will is more than sufficient for you. You don't have to spend time. Yeah, but for that, obviously, if you are doing it first time, you should have question. You might have question, or even if there you are able to do it, but you have doubts. Okay, okay, but why do we did this, or how we did this? Okay, can you show me it again? I'm not sure. So these questions, if you don't ask, then there is no point, right? Then probably we won't be able to accomplish what we are trying to do from this training. Okay, so that's why I start with, if you have any question, any doubts, because I know it is sometimes difficult to speak up in a group, right? That, okay, I have this doubt, I have that doubt, but it's okay, right? It's more of a, as I said, it's more of a team meeting, that we can discuss things, that okay, this is how you do. Can you show me again? Okay, so fine, we'll proceed. We'll create few more. We'll create few more. Requirements. Okay, just maybe I'll create from template. Okay, demo requirement for 28/02/24. Okay, fine. See, I'm creating it from the template, so it is already there, right? So but you can change it as of 28/02/24. Okay, nothing is assigned. Okay, reference. Okay, all parties, Jack, Betty. Maybe I need a new tag for this. Okay, so maybe I'm doing it for create a new tag. Okay, fitment requirement. Okay, like there's some fitment, so I'm using that tag. Okay, fitment requirement, work stream. Okay, again, a requirement could be of multiple work streams, right? Like let's suppose a requirement is that you have to integrate two systems, as for HANA and Ariba, right? So the integration would require some work on your S4 HANA, some work on your Ariba, and you are going to integrate through CPI, right? So some work on the CPI. So it could be that it is the requirement is divided, would be worked up through the different teams, right? So you can have multiple. Okay, just you can create your own workstream, right? I showed you that. I'm just arbitrarily choosing, okay, just to show you. Okay, deliverable. Again, like this is again optional. It helps in like when you are trying to report or trying to see the traceability. Okay, so let's suppose this is maybe in configuration. Yeah, this is the main configuration, right? This is the deliverable. Like deliverable, what is it? Like I said, it could be an integration, right? Or it could be a development, right? So the end result or the deliverable of this requirement is a development piece or integration piece or an enhancement piece, right? So that you can choose, right? Dates, start date, I'll give it as maybe 1st of April. Planned completion date, I'll give 3rd of May. Duration is 33 days. Team, again, you can create your own teams. Okay, I'll assign it to functional team. Assigned role, probably maybe the cloud architect. Okay, user type, what this uses, it's a user is partner. These are all options. You may not be, you won't be, should not. Okay, I'll be the responsible whoever is creating ideally, right? In ideal scenario. So this is done. Refinement priority could be maybe high. Okay, and efforts would be 400 hours. Okay, okay, fine. So I'll create it. I'll just save it. Okay, now okay. So I'll just save in. I'll just save and close. Okay, so now my requirement is there. Now I told you about the approval process, right? So I'll show you how the approval process works. Okay, so here the approval process doesn't work in the conventional manner, in the sense that there's actually no relation between it. Like probably it is going to come in near future, but the approval status, if that requirement is requires approval, so the approval process doesn't have an effect on the requirement status or requirement. Like it's like if I go back to your compare it with solution manager for the change document, until unless the RFC, like a request for change, is approved, the change document doesn't get created, right? So it is linked, right? And until unless the change document has not been is in development, you can't actually, means you, let's suppose if it's you have done the development, and if you have not changed the status to ready for test, you will not be able to test because the transfers have, or the changes have not moved to your quality system, right? So the statuses are linked, right, to each other. But here, for now, it is the approval process is more of a maybe for a documentation purpose, right? Where if you want that, okay, I just to document somewhere that okay, this requirement was approved, then you can do that. But it doesn't have doesn't have like direct relation, that actually even if it could be cancelled and you can go ahead with the requirement, because I don't know what's the logic behind that what cloud but I think they are eventually going to link it. If they have approval process, they will again link it. And again, since cloud ALM doesn't have right now any notifications or any those kinds of stuff, so it is like that you, like I'm the requester, so I'll have to inform the approver that this is the requirement, could you please approve it. So then he or she has to come to cloud ALM and approve it. Okay, so I'll just show you. Once I show you, you'll understand it. Okay, so okay, so requirement is a refinement. Okay, we'll put it in approval. Okay, just one sec. And okay, so you see the status has now had no assign, no approval required, ready for approval, right? So first we have to change it. Okay, this is in approval. Okay, so this is in approval. Requirement status, like it requires an approval, right? Now we come to the approval. Okay, so now you have to either, let's suppose there could be a requirement where no approval is required, in the sense that it's a very generic task, right? Like a printer setup, right? Which is being done daily, or a role movement or role creation, which would not have any effect, right? Or from it could be that any work which has less effort, could be like in man hours or costing or whatever, that doesn't require a approval as such. So then you can select as no approval required, right? So this would be done by the approver, whoever that is. You see, this is like I mean, since I am, anyone can do it, right? But it can, how it can be tracked in a very tracking is not there, but how we can track it is from the history, that who approved it when approved, right? Just in case we want that. But yeah, there is no coupling as such within approval and requirement status, and anyone can come and do it, right? So this is not a very mature workflow right now, but in case you want to use it, you can use it, right? So, but now if you want a requirement, no, there is no, because you see, because you see, you are not choosing any, who will approve it, right? That's what I'm saying. It's still not very mature workflow. It is like for now they have started, they have incorporated it, but the approval process is not very mature. It's not, there is no workflow as such. There are no email notifications. Okay. So now if you want to request something, so it is like more of a manual effort in the sense that you had a workshop, you have created a requirement. Now you want to, obviously you'll get it on mail, but just if you want to record it for documentation, you can do it here, right? So maybe you can request your business owner at the client side that this requirement, you have share the requirement number, name with him, and can you please approve it? So he, for that, one is like you have to create the requirement status in approval, and you have to ready for approval. Okay. So now it's ready for approval. Now if you see the, you have got two more options, right? Okay. So now whoever you have requested, he or she can come and he can approve it, okay, or reject it, right? So it is, so one sec, I won't change it. Okay, just one sec. Okay, let's suppose I approve it. Okay, so you can change it. Okay, so now it's approved. So now I can change the requirements to the in realization, and then you can go ahead with it. So as I said, there is no like direct relation, right? It's just more of a documentation purpose, and where you can see. So maybe you can, here you can come and you check in the history. Okay, so Agatha Christie.
Can it change the status of unapproved to other status? I mean, by chance, if I approve it, which is not supposed to be approved by me, by other user, they have approved it.
You no, you can't. You can like unchain. Yeah, you can't redo it. That's why it gives you that pop-up, right? But again, just to, it's again like even if it's a realization, I can make it. You can block it, right? Or you can, once it's completed, confirmed, right? Or you can not manually, even after approval. So that's why there is no relation. The workflow is not very mature, as you can see, right? But it's more of a like, if you, because I'll show you that like for requirements you can just filter out of which all requirements are approved, right? Or which all requirements are from a requirement status, right? So you can filter out by approval. So if you want that for document purpose, because you can see who has approved it, right? So if it is a, then later on, if if there is any discrepancies, okay, this change who had and who was, so you can see that this was, we had created, it was approved by the concerned person, so we went ahead, right, in that way. Because until, obviously you'll have it in mail, right? You will get email, but then again, mail will be with you and the concerned person, right? This anyone can check. Okay, what is the approval? So in that way, it helps, right? Okay. So I'll move it to in realization. Okay, and then we'll create user story for it. Okay, just like to. So let's suppose user story 2802 testing. I'll come down. Okay, so you can choose different things, right? The user stories have story points as well, right? You all are familiar with the story points, right? So you can give it a story point as well. Again, it's like if you want to have that field. So 100. Okay, fine. Let's save it. See, if you see, the user story has already these tags. So this tags is inheriting from the requirement. Okay, so tags are inherited. Okay, so if you want to remove, you can remove it. That's why if I want to remove it, so I can remove it. But since I'm creating from the requirement, it has inherited the tag, because tags are to identify, right? So if I'm identifying, okay, this is, maybe I have had config user requirement, so probably its user story is will also be of that same category. So config or whatever config testing, if you want, whatever tags you can have, right? So I'll just save and close it. Okay, so my user story is created here. Okay, status is open, relation is child. Okay, now if I want to create a project task, it's here. I will create a project task. Okay, I'll come down. So if you see in requirement, project task, user stream, all the fields are more or less same. Okay, if you see, right? So it just depends on which one. It's more of a like like some project want user story based development, so they will only go with user stories. User stories will get assigned to sprints, right? So that you can do, right? You can assign your user stories to sprints. Okay. Similarly, project. So either like people, maybe projects don't know. Okay, no. As I said, some task would not be part of a sprint, so they will not be comfortable, as in making them as user story. So they will use project tasks. So in that way. Otherwise, you can use them more or less interchangeably, right? So there's no hard and fast. Okay. So we have created a project task as well. Okay. Features and test cases we can create, but I'll come to that later. Okay. So now this is clear. Maybe for a user story, as I said, subtask, right? So subtask are nothing but child activities of that user story. So okay, I'll create a subtask for this. Subtask. Again, subtask will also have more or less the same thing. Obviously, some things it will inherit, like this it inherited from the user story, right? So I'll just save it. So we have created a subtask as well. We'll just save and close it. Okay. So this user story has subtask. Okay, we created it. Okay, I'll close it. So we'll go back to a requirement. Taking a bit time to open. So any questions till now here? Okay. So user story. I'll have a task. For project task also. See, I don't see. Okay. See, now I'm in requirement. Okay. So now see, when I'm clicking on project task to open it, you see on the left here, right? When I'm clicking, it is already, by its own taking me to the task app, because project task is a typo, right? So the navigation in that way is you don't have to go outside, go to task and then create it. Right? I'll create another subtask for this. Okay, I'll just save and close it.
Hey, ZaranTech now offers SAP corporate training. That's right. Train your workforce in SAP with our comprehensive program. We offer customized courses, certified trainers, and hands-on labs for both individuals and businesses. Our standout features: bespoke training, fully configured servers for practice, in-house materials, and a dedicated LMS. Plus, get session recordings and 24/7 support. From functional to technical modules, we have got it all. Choose ZaranTech for SAP training and watch your team excel. Learn, upskill, succeed with ZaranTech.
So we have created another subtask. Okay. So now, and this, as soon as you create a subtask, you see the percentage comes, subtask completion. This is helpful in, like, as I said, like there's a requirement, right? You have to integrate S4 with Ariba and through CPA, right? So you have created, like, that requirement is there. So for that requirement, you create a user story, right? Or a project task. So that could have the user story could have three subtasks, right? In a sense that one will be assigned to the work which needs to be done on the S4 system, the other work which needs to be done on the CPI, and the last task which needs to be done on the Ariba to complete this integration, right? And it could be that you can also, right? So you can have three subtasks. So those subtasks can be shown here, right? I'll create another subtask and maybe, right? So that way you can try to go where it is pending, right? So you see there are 0 to 0% completion, right? So as you work, so you can from here, okay, there are three subtasks or two subtasks. Okay, where are they, right? So in that way, this also helps, right? Now I'll go back to my open task, come into requirement. Okay, so I have a user story, I have a project task. Okay, references, I've told you can create reference probably. Okay, so now I'll go back.
Yeah, I have a doubt.
Yeah.
Can you open the requirement once?
Okay.
So, like you said about the approval, right?
Right.
Yeah. Can you go to the additional information tab once? Will there be any like option wherein we can upload a document as a proof of document? For example, we have taken.
Yeah. Acha, I got, yeah. So no, there is no thing here about you can use this reference thing. Like you upload it at a SharePoint location. Okay. And then you can, this is what we do in projects, because like this documentation is there in feature, but at a requirement level you can't upload documents directly, right? So what you can do is you can create obviously you should, could be a shared folder, SharePoint, something or the other, right? You can do a doc, and you can
Okay, we can
share
add the URL here.
yeah, you can add the
Okay,
URL.
okay.
Okay. So you can use, or if that's why like anything which is related to a requirement, it could be that is what, how before the documentation came in cloud element, this is how we were doing it. Like even for like if there's approval, where do you upload it? Like for feature, you have to deploy it, right? So it would need approval that okay, we can move it to quality testing approval, testing has been approved, it's confirmed, right? So those all
Yes.
documents you could maintain in a SharePoint, and that link you can maintain here, right? You could have again as in SharePoint, you can create, if you want, in the common folder you can create for your specific requirement a separate folder. Within that you can do it, and so it becomes easier, like, so whoever wants to check it, they can directly go there rather than going to the SharePoint and completely out of it. Could be like there could be 100, it could be documents for 100 requirements, right? So you can have that, right? So that is how the projects have been doing it now. They
Okay.
have to have SharePoint or any other common folder, whichever is there available, right? So you dump all your related documents there. Like for requirement, you would have approval, or like I had mentioned earlier, someone had question, like when you're doing for understanding the requirement, you might have during a workshop, you might have taken some notes or taking screen caps, and like from the old system, legacy system, the new, so you wanted, so you could have taken some screenshots or some report output, so that you can also keep it relevant, so that you don't have to go somewhere else for that requirement. Or it could be that you are creating the requirement, the one who's creating the requirement probably will not be, will take it to completion, right? So there would some other person come in and take that to completion from a development perspective, or from a taking care of the requirement, getting the requirement completed, right? So in that way that helps, right? Obviously, because when you are
Okay.
doing your workshops, you will have notes, right? You will take screenshots or details, so
Yes,
you want
yes,
to,
yes.
right?
Yes.
Yeah. So because everything you, again, probably it is not very, everything you cannot put it in description, right? It could be a Word document with your screenshots, with some information with an Excel or something, right? Excel, right? Okay, what data entities will be part of this requirement, or anyone, what company code, could be anything, right? So everything you can put it at one place, and you can share the reference here, a URL. Okay.
Okay, so fine, I got that. And one more thing, for example, regarding the approval, like you are working from Agatha's credentials, right? It has all the access, right?
Right.
But for example, if I am a team member and I don't have, and there is a restrictions with my access, okay?
Right.
So my team lead creates these requirements, for example. Okay. And
Yes.
is there a process wherein I have 3, 4 team members along with me? Will there will be anything that this requirement is assigned to Rohit, or this requirement is assigned to XYZ, like that? Like you got me, right? For example, you are my team lead and I am in
Right.
your
I got it.
team. Can we
Right.
assign it to the person? Like this requirement is specifically with Rohit or so and so.
Right. You can change, you can change it to the team, the assigned role,
Okay.
the
Here it
user
is
tag.
there. Okay.
Yeah.
In additional
Yeah.
information.
Yeah. It could be not by name, but the role in the team. Like I assign it to functional team, right? So in functional team,
Okay.
these are also. Let's suppose I created one technical team, okay. So these are roles, right? So obviously some names would be there, so it gets automatically assigned to that person. Okay. You don't have
Yeah,
to
that is what I
from
was.
the role, right?
Yes.
Or if you want, you can maybe responsible, you can take it on your own name, right? You can use that also, right? So
Okay.
yeah, so this you can do, right? So this you could say that, okay, why not directly assign to that person, why that option is not there, right? So it comes from the perspective that it's, they have, like cloud element, as I said, even the roles are no role based, right? They don't have composite roles or single role. They have, like, it's role based. A change manager, okay, this is the change manager role. And it also comes from that, like I was showing, the pre-populated tasks which are already there when you activate your roadmaps, right? So those are also those SAP has predefined, okay, these set of tasks will be assigned to the project manager. These set of tasks. So as soon as in your project you onboard a person as your project manager, those tasks, if you want to use those predefined tasks, gets automatically assigned to the project manager, to the person who has that role, who in your project, that role, or test manager, right? Or there are some tasks in test related. So it is predefined, okay, these tasks will get assigned to the test manager role or business process expert, right? So whoever you assign in your team that role, business process expert, those tasks will get assigned to that person automatically. You don't have to go and assign, okay, this task will be done by Ratan, this task. No, if Ratan has the role of business process expert, so all the roles which are supposed to be done, or sorry, tasks which are supposed to be done by the business process expert of that project, it will assign to it, right? So
Okay.
that
Got
that's
it.
why it's more of a role based.
Okay. Yeah. Thanks.
Yeah, this is
Yeah. Sorry.
yeah.
I interrupting maybe. But how will we, like, how can we, do we need to put our efforts or any inputs in, like so many hours of work has been done? So how will we know the status of the completion of the requirement? Like it is completed or it is in progress, or like,
So requirement. Okay. One sec.
I mean, now we have actually gathered the requirement, right?
Right.
We'll start the working in the realization phase. Correct.
Realization. Correct. Yeah.
So when we go to the realization
So,
phase,
so it's all like, to put it. One sec. Just save and close it. So now it is in realization phase. Okay.
yes.
So this. Okay. So how is it like the requirement itself is actually not in ideal scenario. In an ideal project, it is like requirement will be broken down, or will have maybe at least one user story, right?
Yes.
Okay, or maybe three, whatever, right? So let's suppose there are three user stories, right? So then it's like 33, 33, 33, right? Percent division, right?
Hmm.
User story is again like when you get assigned user story development, so they start work on it. So in Cloud ALM, that work is supposed to be done through feature, another like user story. If I think, okay, one sec. Actually, we'll cover that, but just to.
Okay, no problem. If you are going to cover further,
No, that's fine. I'll just. No, it's a good question. So, oh, sorry, I opened the project task. So like if I take again going back to solution manager, you must have worked with RFC and change document. So there, how do you do it? The requirements probably you do it on in an Excel or wherever you mark it. But when the actual you get a user story, you have to do a development, you need a transport, right? So
yes.
that a change document or a RFC or a change document needs to be there, right? So once you have the change document, it's in development, you get the transports, you work on the transports, you assign your objects in the transport. Then once you're done with your development, your unit testing, you say, okay, now it is ready for testing. So then you move to quality, right?
Correct.
So correct. So your percentage of work is getting calculated. If I may, that okay, development is done, so maybe it's 20%, that requirement, right? And in testing, maybe 40%. Okay, unit testing is done 40%. Maybe again we have in quality, user acceptance, another 60%. Again, performance testing, another 80, and then once it's completed and moved to production, then it's 100%, right?
Yes.
So same way it is here. Instead of the requirements you are tracking here, requirements will have user stories. User stories will have feature, which is the change document, or then features will have transports, right? So if I come here, you see in this I want. So user stories have the option that you can assign a feature to it, which you eventually have to assign, right? Okay. So like this, and feature is the not like not an apple to apple comparison, but that is what we had in in solution manager change document. Same is the feature entity here, which is used for deployment, change and deployment. Feature would have transports, TOCs, and you will work on them. And once, so this would be, it is like drill down and moving up. Like, okay, what is the status of your again user? Like I said, if I start with requirement, it could have three user stories. each user story could have, and it ideally should be a one-to-one relation, that a user story should have one feature, but you can have it. But again, if it's single feature, then depending like the feature, for one user story, you have completed your development, the feature, the transport has been moved to production. So that user story is 100% complete. The other two are not completed. So then you can say your requirement is only 33% completed, right? But yeah, this you cannot, in a way, you can't track it directly from here. You have to do it manually. Like you have to, status will not change automatically. You
Okay.
have to do it. Okay. This is
Can you? Okay, I understood. In progress, we can put, right, whenever we are going forward, right?
right. Yeah. Right.
Okay. Can you go to the task? Therein, you had shown a bar where the percentage was being shown, the green color, some
Right.
percentage,
So that is
right? So that will how that will come to 50%. Like some inputs we need to give, right? Like
that
this task is in progress or in testing
that was for
task,
it was for subtask, like okay.
subtask. Okay.
Yeah, that will again come like you have to change the statuses of your
Yeah, like Ratan, you got my question right. It is like we are defining it. This is a one-time activity. Later on, what all inputs we need to give so that this requirement is completed, shown as completed in system.
Right.
Yes.
Correct. Yeah. So you have to do it. Only then you will be able to.
So we need to complete the status of user stories, and we need to show the completion status of tasks also, right? Then the requirement will be completed. Correct.
Yeah, that is all right. As you said, like when it is in like you now you are doing the development for that particular requirement, so you'll move it to in realization phase. The user story, now you have started working, so it only has one, in progress and completed, right? So the user story is in progress, right? So it could take a month, right? If it is a part of a sprint of 4 weeks, so it will take care. So it would be in progress, right? Yeah. So yeah, you have to do it. As best practice, you have to making everything has the correct status. Yeah. Then only probably you will be able to, at the higher level, you will be able to see the current status, because it can tell you for a particular within a project how many requirements are in realization phase, right? So until unless you change the actual status, it could, because as I said, there is no relation. Like even if it is in requirement, is in refinement phase, you can start your user story. You could have started working. So that is your responsibility, your prerogative, that you maintain the actual status of each of the tasks, so that the actual status of the project is reflected. If you don't do it,
then we'll not get the analytics, right?
Correct. Analytics, you'll get it, but obviously it would be way more far from the use, and way more far, from the truth. It could be that, it happens in project, like the people, like, because when people are seeing at the higher level, they see, okay, it is not progressing, right? So there have been cases where people are, even the work has not been completed, but they are making because it just comes, I'm not saying a drawback, but because in Cloud ALM you can check it at so many levels, that it could be that your project is just checking at requirement level, right? So it could be that and this is from a live project, that they just the work has not been completed, but just to show that the percentage completion is right, they have gone and changed the status of the requirement to completed. But the user story is not completed, because they know the whoever is checking, the project manager or the leadership, they are only tracking at a requirement level, right? And even SAP says this, like they have that you can run a project as a requirement. Like you just track the requirements, right? How many you can track it at user story level as well, right? So that is something process needs to be well defined, and it has to be enforced, right? Otherwise,
I think we should have like a discussion about the reports and how to check the reports also in one of the sessions, right?
Yeah. We have
We'll be
that.
having.
Yes. Because there are many. If each entity has their own reports. Mora, it's same, but it has own reports. Okay. So I was able to answer your query.
Yes. Thank you.
So,
please.
Anyone? Any other question?
Small question from my side.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe you can answer it at a later stage and continue with the classes. Just one thing I wanted to know is like for the task, you showed how to create the task and the requirements. So just if you could show like from the template, how you are creating the template for the task and the requirements. So if you could show at a later stage, that would be very helpful because I must have missed that. Like you are creating like a task or a requirement from template, right? So how to create that template? Maybe I might have 10, 15 requirements. So maybe I'll create a template, a common template, and keep on editing that one.
So it's like, so for that, let's suppose you want, okay, what you want in your requirement or that this are will. So you first create a, let's suppose. So I'll show it for requirement, or you want me to show it for, it's more or less same. So I'll show it for requirement because in most requirement would be the one where you are going to use the template, because for a similar work stream, you will have similar requirement, right? Okay, so I'll just name it as template demo 802. Okay. So I want this would be passed if you want finance. Okay. Solution process also, so this will become part of your, maybe not scope, leave it. Work stream, right? Part of your, so maybe application. Again, you can have multiple work stream, but let's keep it to one only for now. Then again, refinement, approval, whether you want it to be, okay, it should be there. No approval should be required, right? So you fill up everything, whatever you want, which you want to be part of the template. Okay. Priority like should be medium only. Okay. What are the tags you want in your, so that you can do. Maybe you want to create your own tax requirement. Yeah. Okay, you have created this tag. If the requirements up, so I will take it. So dates, yeah. So dates, team, it will be part of your team's a functional team. So okay, so this is done. Now you see this checkbox, right? Use this as a template. So you have to just click on it, and now this will become a template. Okay, hello.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, got it. And same for the task as well, right?
Yeah.
We'll have this up.
Correct. Same. See, because inherently or underlying, if you see the UI is same, because cloud ALM they consider this every requirement, user story, project as all as task, but different type of task. So it's the same, right? So if I'll just save and close it. Okay. Just close it. So now let's suppose create from template. So you have your template. Okay, so now you can create it from here. The things we have filled, it's already there. You can change it. Obviously, you can change. It's not hard and fast which you have chosen. You can change, but some of the fields which you have filled up will be part of which won't change. You can make it as a template. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So another thing I wanted to show is like, let's suppose you click requirements only. Like we'll cover this in detail later, but just want to show quickly. You want to come to okay. I want to check. I'm in realization phase. I'm in explore. So realize phase. I want to see how many transactions. My project has how many requirements, right? So or what, right? So let's suppose I want to choose. I am part of this project, but I'm only for prior for finance. Okay, and maybe where approval is, which are approved. Okay. So you see these two are approved, so I can see it. Okay, fine. Then I go back. Okay, I can come to requirement. Okay. Now, since I'm coming again, but if I close it and come again, so these filters will not be there, right? It will again like reset, right? So what you can do, you can create it as a view for you, right? Okay, you can create it as project name, so that it becomes easier. You don't have to every time, choose the options and then filter out what is your need, right? So you can create multiple views in this requirement tab to say, okay, I want to see which requirements are approved. So I'll start working. Which requirements are not approved? Okay, then I will follow up, right? So you don't have to again select. So it gives you this option like, okay, I'll save it. So this becomes this way. Okay, see so this is coming from some other, right? So if I'll go and check my view. Okay. So like this, you can have views. Like you can just come directly, choose your view, and then you can see what you need to say on a daily basis, right? Like suppose if you work in a support project, so usually you come and check every day your queue, right? Which tickets are assigned to me or to my group, right? So you have so every day you do that, right? So here also, if you want to do it, you can do it. You can create a view for your own use, right? Okay, this is my view. I'll just come and choose my view, and I can see what is. I don't have to every day come and select. You have to find your project, right? It becomes difficult to find a project. So you can find your assigned project and what statuses you want, right? And then you can save it as a view for you. Okay, so its feature is everywhere. Wherever you have this analytics, this you can save the view, save that particular filter detail settings as a view. Okay,
This
clear?
view is only user specific. All the users can also view it.
It's all the users can view it. If they know the view, they can use it.
Okay.
Okay, yeah. It is like only who are like part of the project, not everyone who is part of the cloud ALM.
Yeah,
Because
part of the team,
yeah.
right?
Yeah,
It's the team.
yeah.
What we create.
Yes.
Okay.
Correct. It's not user specific.
Okay.
They just have to know the name of the view, and then they can just select it, and then because it will not show for them as a default. So when I say, make it as a default, it will show that will become for me, but not for everyone. But they can see the view. They have just to select it, and they can see it. So it is anyone across the team. Okay, and you can have multiple views created for you, right? There are different ways, right? Okay, even for task you can do, right? So it's the same UI, the same setup. Okay, so here also you can create a view. Okay, let's suppose this is the project finance priority and medium timelines. Maybe I want only prepare. I want to see and I create a view. Select. Okay, and if there are different tags. Okay, if you remember. So like status, I won't choose right in progress. Okay, maybe filter out by functionality. Okay, then maybe you can save it as view. So now you can. So it will show for your project what is there. So you can do it for different places. Okay, clear? Okay, fine. So what is landscape management? So landscape management is nothing but the landscape, right? For your project, you would need a landscape, right? Landscape is like set of system on which the project which are part of the project scoping, right? Your S4HANA system, there are different sandbox development quality. You could have a BAP system for a GRC or a GTS system, right? Or then you can have cloud solutions, Ariba, SuccessFactor, Concur, C4C, right? CPI, right? You can have multiple tenants of these, right? So all of these have to be first set up in the landscape management of Cloud ALM, right? It's like first you have to have these systems connected to your Cloud ALM. Only then you will be able to use it, right? Because in Cloud ALM also you can have different project, right? You are running one project, there could be another project running parallel, right? So all the projects would have systems, right, on which the actually project is supposed to part of the project, right? So all these projects have to be part of the Cloud ALM before you actually make it or incorporate them as part of your project, as part of your deployment plan and landscape, right? So for that, we have landscape management Cloud ALM, where you can manage whatever systems are there. For few systems, it is automatic, like you don't have to do anything for the maintenance, but for other systems, you'll have to do it, right? So this is it. Okay. So this is the landscape. I will show you in the system as well. So basically, it in landscape management, you can see all the systems. And when I say systems, or I would rather say all the products. The products could be, or the application could be a system, could be a business service, or could be a cloud application, right? Systems could be S4HANA, right? S4HANA, your GTS, ABAP, any system, right? Your applications or your cloud solutions, Ariba, SuccessFactor, ABAP on cloud, CloudFront, HANA DB on cloud, right? These would whatever products application available over cloud. So this will be part of your cloud solution, cloud service. Another is business services, right? Business service is nothing but you might know that in BTP, SAP provides a lot many services like software as a service, right? Like you have cash management, you have transport management service. There are multiple services. So those services also can be managed or can be maintained in the landscape management. Means basically you could have them as part of your project. So then eventually, so for that you will have to have them in Cloud ALM as part of the landscape management, right? Okay, so it's if I could say it's more of a like in the traditional solution manager you had LMDB, right? So in that way you can say that this is not in true sense because you don't have too many options. It's more of a more of display kind of thing. There are some things maintenance you can do, but most of the things or most of the is taken care from the at the system end. Like let's suppose you have as for HANA system and you want to, it is supposed to be part of your project. So you have to incorporate or add that as make it as part of the landscape management of cloud. So then you have to in that S4 system you have to go and give you the details of your cloud ALM tenant, create a destination, and then automatically once the destination is it's more like we use RFCs, right? So it will create a destination and then the information will flow from your S4 HANA system of the S4 HANA system to Cloud ALM through BTP, right? Because Cloud ALM is also an application which sits on BTP, right? So it's not like something a standard. It is also it is one of the application which SAP provides through BTP. So it sits on BTP. So the connection or the destination happens through BTP, right? So there like you are like or for success factor. So you integrate it with Cloud ALM, but most of the things have to be at the success factor so that information about this entity, about the tenant or about the system is passed on from the system itself to Cloud ALM tenant. So you don't have, it's more of a push and not a pull kind of scenario, right? Right, once that push is done, then information is there, and then Cloud ALM will keep on pulling data. But it's not like in Cloud ALM you define and try to pull data from. It's the other way around. In S4 or for any systems or CPN, you create it. Like for cloud solution, it will automatically come. You don't have to do because any cloud solution which is part of your contract, okay, or part of your enterprise agreement, and you have activated it, will automatically flow into Cloud ALM. Because everything is on BTP, right? So that and Cloud ALM is also in BTP, right? So that is by design that any business service or any cloud solution you are using, like it's part of your contract, you have activated it. So that information will pass on directly without any user interference. Will directly will be available in Cloud ALM. You don't have to do anything for that, right? So this like how you see different systems. Okay. So I was saying automatic import of customer cloud services. So whatever cloud services are there will automatically flow. You don't have to do it until only if you once you like for like so you have a HANA DB on cloud or you have ABAP on cloud or you have Foundry or Neo BTP environment, right? So once you activate those services, those solutions, automatically the information will flow to Cloud ALM. You don't have to do anything additional or wait or do nothing for the no additional step or not a single step to be done for that information to be passed to Cloud ALM so that you can make it a part of your project landscape or your deployment landscape, right? So again, connectivity maintenance, as I said, you can do it. Access to SAP Cloud Service Key. Then the status overview of SAP Cloud ALM use cases that I'll show you. Like Cloud ALM has different use cases. Use cases are mostly used on the operations part, not on the implementation part. The implementation part is like once the system data is there, you can make it part of your deployment phase, right? Even integration with business service management. So this is nothing but once let's suppose you have cloud solutions in your system, right? In your landscape. So the cloud solutions, the cloud products, SAP has a maintenance cycle for them, right? It is predefined. They publish it and like let's suppose there is a success factor upgrade or update or they are changing the data center anything, so they'll pre-notify you. So most of you know that in SAP for me, like earlier it was Launchpad. For SAP for me, you can go and see the availability of your cloud solutions, right? So you can right. So same thing you can integrate in your cloud. Basically, it's nothing but let's suppose you have a multi cloud solution landscape and you have integrated your business service management with event integration. So what it would do, as soon as let's suppose there is a outage on any of the cloud solution, be it Ariba, SuccessFactors, so you get automatic notification, at least an email to your DL, right, whichever is maintained there. So same notification will get created, and it will create an event in Cloud ALM, right? But this is more from operation perspective, just for knowledge. But it will create an event in Cloud ALM. Like the same information will pass to Cloud ALM also, that okay, your Ariba tenant is down. So that will create an event. Now, with that event, you can do multiple things. You can either create a notification that okay, the event comes and email will be triggered, right? Or because the notification from email will come to the people who are maintained in that, a part of that, the S user or the part of that administration. But if you want to show it to a broader audience, so then you can from that event create a notification that okay, your this cloud solution is down, or you can create a ticket also, right? But there's no use of ticket because much use, but at least for tracking purpose you can do it. But because any cloud solution is not in our scope from a maintenance or administrative perspective, right? It is maintained and administered by SAP, right? So if it goes down, it goes up. SAP is the responsible team, right? So you don't create a ticket to SAP, right? Means that, right? It doesn't work that way. That you don't create a ticket. So you can't create a ticket to SAP. Maybe for internal purpose, for tracking purpose, you can create an incident in your own service now, or any ticketing tool that okay, Ariba or SuccessFactors was down from this and this day, and just update it. So that is fine. But yeah, so but this feature is there, but this is more for the operations part, not for the but it would be helpful like when you are actually you are in a project and you have different systems, right? You are using cloud solutions, so it could be that during your in development or during your testing there is some issue, so then you can get notified that okay, there is an issue, we have received a notification, there's a business disruption for one of the cloud products, right? So in that way it is helpful, right? So yeah, so deployment planning is nothing but again how do you know within your projects, how do you define the deployment plan? What is your deployment plan? What the release cycle, and what else systems would be part of the deployment? Would you be would you have a scattered deployment or a big bang deployment? So those are things part of deployment, right? You can have different deployment plans in a system for different system different deployment plans, right? Or if you want, you can have the same deployment plan for all your system groups, right? So that is it. I will come to the system and then we'll just go through this quickly. So I have gone through this deployment when we were creating the project, just to show you, because there was one type of deployment landscape. I'll just revisit it in the demo. Okay. So deployment plan is again a collection of system release timelines, and same deployment plan can be applied to multiple projects, right? So deployment plan is nothing but what is deployment? Where are you going to do the deployment? So you need systems, right? And how and when, right? You are going to deploy on this system. So that is a release timeline. So when these two come together, you get a deployment plan, and then you assign this deployment plan to your project, your deployment landscape, and you can again use the same deployment plan for different projects, right? Because it could be that you have multiple projects and there's a project which is going to run on the same set of run on the same system groups and follow the same timeline, right? There are different, right? One could be for HR, one could be for finance, right? Depending on, right, you can have multiple projects, so they can share the same deployment plan, same system, right? There is no like hard and fast. There's not a lock like that. Okay, now this can be.
What sets ZaranTech apart in SAP corporate training? It's our unique blend of expertise and innovation. We offer customized courses tailored to each client's needs, ensuring relevant, targeted learning. Our vast trainer database brings you wisdom from the best in the field. Need resources? Access our extensive training material repository anytime. We are all about measurable results, providing detailed student metrics to track progress. And we don't just teach, we build community. Join our thriving social media network, connecting learners beyond boundaries. With ZaranTech, you are not just training, you are transforming your SAP expertise.
This deployment or this system group will be only part of this project, and no other project will come and work on it. No, that it doesn't work like that, right? In day to day or in real scenario also, it could be like let's suppose your system group consists of your S4 HANA system, your CPI, your Ariba, right? So there could be one project which is running for like you can have different, right? A project running for your global template and one for a localized template, right? So then both can run in parallel on the same system groups using the same deployment plan, right? So this is how to create the deployment plan. This is fine. So this is how we create. I'll show you again this. Okay. To assign. Okay. We'll show it in the demo. How do you assign system groups? Okay. How to assign a deployment. This is okay. So you define, put it under deployment landscape. Okay. Fine. This is over. So I'll just show how to demo quickly. Okay. I'll reshare again. Okay. So we'll come to the home page. Go to project and setup. Okay. Oh, sorry. First, I forgot. So first is the landscape plan. Okay. So if you come to the administration, okay, you have landscape management, right? Which we were talking, right? So landscape management will, as I said, like if you can compare it with Solution Manager LMDB, it would be the best way, nearest to it for comparison, right? So in landscape management, you can check what all system services are part of your scope, as part of this cloud ALM, right? So this is the scoping. There's this scoping like filter, which okay. So just service groups. So these are the different services. Okay, available. Okay, so maybe I'll choose.
Ratan, while creating a project, we have some deployment plan, right? Is that how
Right.
this will be different than landscape management?
No, yeah, okay. No, it is different in the sense like these two are different things. It's not the same. So for any system to be part of your deployment plan, this first has to be available in the landscape management of Cloud ALM, right? It's like any
Correct.
system. Yeah.
We have seen that we have assigned the multiple system with the landscape, right? Development, quality, and pre-production and production. There will be 4 layer with one landscape. So
right.
Is that the same thing what we are in the doing it a landscape management?
Yes. The same thing is the same thing.
Because we already assigned, right? So that
No, it won't have it. Means this I want landscape management related to that. It's like it is related to that one. It's the same thing which we had gone earlier. It's the same thing. We did not cover landscape management, so we are covering it now. So that was like specific to project. This is specific to Cloud ALM. Like if you want any, let's suppose you are in project, you want particular ABC system as part of a system groups. So they will be able, you'll be able to see them there only when they're part of this landscape management of Cloud ALM. That is a project specific. It could be, it's like, the system should be connected to Cloud ALM only, then it will show up there, right? It cannot come from.
Okay. So in that case, this landscape supposed to be maintained initially. Then after that, projects, things to be started. Correct?
Correct. Yes. Yeah.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Yeah. So you can different type use cases. I was saying use cases. So see, these are the different use cases. So this is more to do with the operations part. We have some task manager in these, but it is more to the operations part. So we'll just maybe many object type service and system. Okay. System will show you. So we have these many systems. Service and systems, Cloud Connector, Business Suite, Focus Run, NetWeaver, right? So if I select all, so you apply. So it tells you, right? So Cloud Connector, there is only one tenant or one instance of a Cloud Connector, right? Business Suite, there are 5 in total Business Suite in your landscape, which are there. 2 are active, 3 are new, right? So this it tells like this. You can say 1 Focus and 1 NetWeaver, right? So it just gives an overview of what all systems are there, and then services. Choose. Okay. So it tells you how many instances of each are there, right?
But then these are populated automatically, or do we need to do an integration in the ALM?
No, for systems you have to run one setup at the system and not at Cloud ALM. For services like most of the which are on BTP. For them, you don't have to. They will come automatically. But for something like Ariba, SuccessFactor, for that, again, similar to how you do it for on-prem systems or S/4HANA, you have to do one-time integration activity. It's one time. Okay. But as I was mentioning, for clouds, the services, they will come automatically. You don't have to. As soon as they are activated on BTP, because Cloud ALM sits all on BTP, all the services which SAP provides, software as a service, the service are also on BTP, right? So they come automatically. You don't have to integrate. But for product line, different product line like SuccessFactor, Ariba, Concur, for that you have to do one very small one-time activity, right? I'll show it because I don't have enough systems to show that, but probably I'll try to see if I can get some screenshot or something to show you how that integration happens. Like at least for success factor and for S4 HANA for ABAP is same. So right, so that I'll show. But that is to be done on the managed system, on the system, not on nothing on Cloud ALM. Because again the destination you are going to create is through the BTP. So Cloud ALM is already there on BTP. It is more like you're creating a connection to the BTP instance of Cloud ALM of your landscape. You will have a BTP tenant, right?
See, normally, I mean, to integrate the system, configuration to be happen and vice versa, right? Not on one side.
No, but in Cloud ALM, it's one side. It's, as I said, it's just you have to like be like I don't have the screenshot, but it's like if you're trying to connect an S4 HANA or an ABAP system. So there is a T code called SDF/ALM_setup, where if you go there are 4 or 5 details you have to fill out. One would obviously be your Cloud ALM tenant URL. Like if this is the URL, right? Then you have to create a name for that destination which you are creating. Then a user, which it should have specific roles and authorization. That user you have to create beforehand, which will be created it would be created.
See, you're talking about on-premise, right? You're talking about T code. See, if it comes to the public cloud, then what is the navigation? How can you integrate? We don't have access for backend system.
Yeah, if it is, why would you not have access to your backend system?
No, we don't. In public cloud, we don't have access.
No, means in public cloud, which system?
HANA public cloud. I'm talking about the HANA. Yeah, S4.
Okay, so that you can means if it's SAP Rise, you can ask SAP and they will run the configuration for you, right? You can raise an SR and they'll do it. Okay. It is not like it is like product based, not like it is if it's on public. Until unless you are using the S4HANA as a public cloud edition, then that's separate. But if you are using on public cloud, then you can just raise a SR with SAP or whoever is your, and they will do it for you, right? I know you will not have access, like bases will not have access to those stuff, but it's one-time activity and they will needs to be done. And you just have to do it one time on the system. You don't have to do anything on the Cloud ALM side. Yeah, I understand. Like from in Solution Manager, if you wanted to integrate, you had to run manage system, and you had to on the managed system, you had to install the diagnostic agent. You had to, right? So, but that is not there now in Cloud ALM. So if we can compare it to Solution Manager, that you have to run the managed system configuration for that in Solution Manager for that particular system, then it will be able. Then first you have to send data to SLD, and then it will show up in Solution. And then you run the managed system configuration. Then you decide which all use case it will be. And in managed system, you install the diagnostic agent and other stuff, right? And then you will be able. Then the connectivity happens. But in Cloud LM, it's not like that. It is not actually agent based. So that's why there are some videos available. Maybe if I can find them. SAP videos, where they say how you set it up for your different systems. Okay, clear?
Yeah.
So fine. So as you see there is nothing much of maintenance or configuration options you have, right? You just have to filter. Just like it, like before you start the project, if you want to check, okay, my whatever system groups or products I want are there available in the cloud, so that you can check, right? So there's another business service which is not there because it's maybe a demo tenant, that's why. But there's another type business service which is there. Okay, fine. This is fine. So we'll close it. Fine. So I just quickly recall, revisit that deployment plan and so I'll select so then it will be more clear why we were talking about. So here we already had defined one deployment plan. Like let's suppose I want to create a system group, right? So create a system group. I'll give demo sys group 2802. Okay, I'll choose. Okay, let's have an analytics cloud. Okay, fine. So I'll assign system. Okay, there's only one way. Application server. Okay, yeah. There's only one. Yeah. So here, if you see, these systems, right? I chose SAP Cloud for this. This is my product. So these are the systems which are available in the landscape management of Cloud ALM. Basically, like in short, which are available or connected to Cloud ALM. So only these systems will be you will come here, right, in the list. So that's why in the landscape management, it has to be first there, and then you will be able to add them or use them in your project in a system group, right? someone had that question whether these are like same. So it's the same thing. It's just that the systems which come here in the list are the ones which are available in your landscape manager, which are connected, which have been, destination has been created and added to Cloud ALM. Right. Only those systems will be. That's why, so these many systems will be there, right? So that, as I said, because for cloud solution, it is more or less automatic for most of the services. So it will be there. But for like ABAP products, S4HANA, you have to do one time setup in S4 or ABAP system. Then the data will, or the system will be show up in your landscape management. And then you can assign it to your system within your system groups. Okay. So clear now. Whoever had that question, that is the same thing or different. So that's why I wanted to show you that landscape management. That the systems, if you want, like suppose you come here and you want to your ABC system, but you can't find it, right? So it probably means that it is till now it is not there in landscape management of the Cloud ALM, because the one set of integration step on that system has not been done, or there is some issue. There could be a connectivity. If it was done, it has broken. There was upgrade happened. The user lost its roles, right? You create a role, that user lost its roles, right? So that you have to check, right? So this is the actual relevance of landscape management in a project, in a project environment. There's nothing else, right? So this would be one-time activity, and probably it will be taken care by your technical team, your basis team, or the Cloud ALM administrator, right? So we'll assign this. We'll complete this. This I've already told, like you can have multiple quality system, right? Maybe, and you don't have a production, right? Sorry, you don't have a pre-prod, right? That also you can have. I'll just save it. Demo group, sys group. Okay, I can create a deployment plan. Create demo. Okay, release one. Release one is already taken. I think create train. So I'll choose first. Okay, I'll choose this. I can other release. This is fine. I have to assign system groups. So this was the one. I'll just save it. Also in Cloud ALM, you see in every entity you will have this history option where you can see what the logs, basically how this was created, when and how, right? So this is a good feature option, right? In every, more or less, you'll see this icon history, right? In all the entities it will be there. So another thing is releases. So you see the log button, right? So it has that option that release is open, it can be assigned to items of either, right? So it could be that once June is getting over, you can just log it, right? If you close it, you can no longer assign it to items. Existing assignments will be kept, right? So it gives you again one more level of control, that okay, in this release only these many things or entities. It could be requirements if you assign it, right? So that's why it assign it to items or features. So it could be different items and features, right? You define, like, feature is used for deployment, right? So you can have the deployment within release one. So if it near the date, you can close it, that no more features or items will be assigned to this release, right? So that it's closed now, right? So you can do that. Okay, we have saved it. Okay, projects. I'll go back to my project. Okay, I'll edit it. Okay, I'm just changing it. Okay, I'm not again able to find my deployment plan. You can have multiple system groups as part of one deployment plan, but only one deployment plan can be assigned to your deployment landscape, right? Obviously, right? Your project will have only one deployment. It could have only one deployment. You cannot have multiple deployment plans, right? The deployment plan can be one, and obviously it would have multiple systems as part of this scoping, right? So like you can have multiple, like it cannot be 2 3, there are multiple cloud solutions. Right now every customer is going with all the Maxima are going with cloud solutions, right? So your on-prem systems or S4 system, and then there are multiple clouds. So all those system or product lines will have to be part of your deployment plan, right? At least the ones where you are going to deploy changes, right? So there will be only one deployment plan for your project, which will be assigned under deployment plan landscape, but that particular deployment plan can have multiple system groups assigned to it, not only one, right? Any doubt?
Can we change the deployment plan in between? Suppose any system is down or anything.
Means you want to change the deployment plan, or you want to change the systems within the deployment
System,
plan?
yeah, system. Sorry.
You can change it, but it again, like in a very real scenario, like if you have started with your development, right? So
Mhm.
probably before, and it's very unique requirement could come that okay, you
Yeah,
are
yeah.
that system would not be part of this, so you can delete remove it. Yes, you can do
Okay.
it. Yeah, do it. You can do it. Okay. But yeah, deployment plan probably you will not be able to change, because deployment plans will have releases, and once you are into the project, some of the entity features would be assigned to your deployment plan, right? Your releases. So then it would be, it again could be done if all the related entities or related features are closed, completed, or removed or deleted, right? Like there is nothing, like I don't know how many of you have worked but there's a concept like if you want to delete a folder, you have to first empty it, right? Then you will be able to delete, or it gives you a message that okay, if you want to delete this folder, there are content already in that folder. So what it usually in Linux it does that it is easier that if you want to delete a directory or folder, first you go within that directory, delete everything, and then you come out and then you delete the folder. Then it two step, right? But if you want to delete the folder and with the content in it, it will keep on asking you, okay, there is content within it. Do you want to delete it? Yes, yes, yes. So like you have to say for each entity or each object or each file within that folder, yes, okay, I want to delete. I want to delete. So similarly, because if you have already started with your project and deployment, so and the systems are part of your deployment, so there would be some entities, we could be task requirements which are assigned to those release, right? We were assigning, right? If you remember in the requirements, we could assign it to a release. So if you have done that, then since there are objects existing which are there as part of the release, so you will not be able to delete it. So you will be able to delete once all the underlying objects you can move and delete it, right? Then only you can at least be able to change. But it would be in a very rare case, right? In the middle of the project, you want to systems again, but deployment plan probably won't. Means you should not change, but obviously there could be a circumstances where you have to change it. Then you can do that, right? Yes, can
Okay.
do that. Any questions? Anything else? Okay, fine. So as I mentioned, so we won't have a class Monday after, and next week also Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I'll be back on 7th. Sorry, due to a medical emergency, I'll be unavailable. So we'll again reconvene on 7th of March. That is next week, Thursday. I hope everyone, means I informed earlier. So I'm just repeating that. Okay. So you have some time, you can go whatever we have gone through in these 8 sessions. I think we have done 8 sessions. And then you just within this time, you can go through and I would please request you that you just go through, like, just try to do things, because it's a cloud. You can do n number of mistakes, n number of things goes wrong, it's fine, but you will get a hang of it. You will have queries, you have questions, right? You will come and why I give scenarios of this, like in the current in a real project scenario, this will happen, that will happen, right? Like this question whether you could change the deployment plan or a system group in actual scenario. So obviously the option is there, but I have not done it, right? Or it's very rarely done. So that's a good question, right? So those things will come up, right? That what will be the real in real life scenario, what would be the issues, what could be option, okay, will we able to do this or that, right? How it will, because this is all standard what we are doing. I'm taking a very standard basic setup of a project. We create a project, but projects don't run like that, right? There will be too many permutation combination. You start something, then you come to know, okay, this is not how it is supposed to be done. Then you go back and come back, right? Like even for creating a requirement, it is that for some it will, so depending on the customer, if he or she is very rigid, you will have multiple iterations for the same requirement, right? You could you will not be able to close it very smoothly, or the workshops would be very tedious, too many questions from the customer, right? So again, so that's what I'm saying. So as much as you can play around whatever you have learned till now or gone through, so do it. Then you'll come to know, okay, I'm creating work stream. Okay, I'm assigning, like there was a question like approval, like where do I assign, or the requirement, where do I assign it? How do I track the percentage, right? So these will come at you. You play around, you do the things, you create a project, you play around. then it will come to you and naturally, right? You will queries will come naturally to you. So that is what we are trying to do, right? So as much as much your queries will come up, as that much, you will become more, it will be more clear, right? And others will also get benefited from your queries, your question, or it would be something would be discussed out of that, which normally I might not have discussed it as part of this training. Okay, thank you. Have a good day.
Thank you.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you for joining. Thank you.